Hey everyone, welcome to Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Oberemt. This is the podcast where the only requirement to be a guest is that you are being authentic to who you are. If you're not, I'll shut it down and I'll ask you to leave. Remember, be authentic or get the fuck out. Hey everybody, Eric Oberemt here with Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out again. I am super excited about this podcast. Today we are getting the opportunity to talk to and interview Mary Katherine Smith. Are you excited?
I mean, I'm nervous.
Are you nervous?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Well, don't be nervous.
Who wants to hear from me?
Everyone.
Nobody.
Everybody does. I'd like to say that you came here just for this, but you didn't.
I mean,
You
50-50.
You came out to hang out with some book nerds and
Yeah.
read some shit,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I mean, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. I've done that a couple times where I double down on people that are already coming to town for something.
Yeah.
I think the only person that actually came to town was Pate
Yeah.
for this,
Yeah.
and Phil. And Phil did. Yeah, Phil did as well.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I kind of invited myself here, even though no one wants to hear from me.
Well, you didn't, because I invited you months ago.
Oh.
And then you finally just said, I'm coming to read books. And so.
And then maybe I'll come.
And then maybe I'll come
Maybe
hang
I'll
out.
see you.
Yeah. So I'm glad you did. And you brought Anna Catherine.
I did.
And so they're downstairs playing, and that's fun. But so the purpose of this, and I'll just kind of say it again, like I did the last time when we interviewed Alex, was one of the reasons that I started this podcast, honestly, was kind of selfish, in that I wanted to have a space to be able to hang out with friends and get to have like real conversations, and like conversations that we might have, like privately and together.
Yeah.
And that people can watch because they don't get the opportunity to spend time with certain people, right? Because we're all busy as shit, right? And kind of dig in a little bit and hopefully find something that's maybe a little bit uncomfortable, or, like that you haven't, like talked about before, that just kind of makes it fun, to kind of find out who MK really is, and, that kind of stuff. So, so we'll kind of start digging into that a little bit. I was talking to Pate while we were down at SRC Summit, just trying to kind of get some notes and stuff. Like, I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional.
So you prepped with Pate on what to ask me.
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Right.
A little bit.
I'm ready.
Just to kind of get a feeling and understanding of, just kind of where you came from. I'm trying to be better about doing research on my people that I have come in. I mean, even though we've spent a ton of time together, I just, I want to be.
There's a whole side of me.
Right.
Oh,
fuck. I want to get into that then.
know.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounded exciting. But so to start out, I mean, kind of tell everybody where you're from originally, where you grew up.
Gosh. I grew up in Alabama.
In Alexander City?
Alexander City.
Population of?
Alexander City.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 25,000 people.
Oh, is it that big?
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But
I mean, that's bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
I expected like 25 people in like the woods.
No.
Oh, okay.
Pate grew up in a smaller town than I did.
Okay. All right.
But still small town vibes,
Yeah.
City school system. So, I mean, everyone knows everything about everybody kind of vibe, pretty country living.
Yeah.
Which now, as a grown up, you're like, man, I really appreciate the way I was raised and grew up and the experiences I had. Very simple, like playing in the woods, like I see my parents interact with the twins and the other grandkids, and I'm like, you did not care this much about me and my brothers going in the woods. Like, we could have gotten bitten by snakes. Like, and they're just like, you can't go past the porch. I'm like, Mom.
Can't go past the porch.
Yeah. I'm like, you told us to go to the woods and not to come back until
it was dark.
It started getting dark. And you're like, don't get out of the driveway.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, pretty simple. Like,
and you grew up and your mom did what for a living?
My mom's a teacher.
Okay.
High school teacher, English for 20 something years. And then when my older brother graduated high school, she we say that she graduated high school too. And then she started teaching at the community college that she taught there for another 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And she just retired in a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, right before Anna. Well, actually, when I told them I was pregnant with Anna Catherine, she was like, all right, well, I'm retiring.
Right. And what did your dad do?
He worked at a hardware store.
Okay.
Very hard worker. He's where I get my work ethic and my worker bee personality.
And so that was what I wanted to get into a little bit too was, so you graduated high school and then you went to Alabama.
Well, I went to community college for 2 years because my mom was teaching there and I went for free.
Smart.
So did that thing.
Yep. Did you like school? Were you a school person because your mom's a teacher? Like some, you never know.
I was, I see this more now with the twins being in kindergarten. They're learning and they're both very different. And I'm like, wow, you're Pate as a student and this one is MK as a student.
So Pate was a good student?
I mean,
who was the better student?
Me.
Okay, you were.
Yeah, I didn't get in trouble. Like, you tell me to count to 10, I'm going to learn how to count to 20.
Right.
Yeah, so I was like an A, B student. Okay. My dad was always like, I don't know. He like pushed me, and I don't know if he was realizing that he was doing it, but he pushed me to, I always felt like I had to make an A or make a 100.
Right. Are you daddy's girl?
Yes.
Okay.
1,000.
Got it.
The biggest.
Yeah.
Like me and Tegan can compete on who's the bigger daddy's girl.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Like when you're a little girl, like the first guy you fall in love with is your dad.
Right.
And you look to.
Really should be the only person, but go on.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I hear you. But you look to. When you're looking for a partner or a husband, like you subconsciously like attract to qualities that your dad had. Right. Which surprisingly, Pate is a lot like my dad.
Yeah, I don't see that.
People don't know that side of him. He's very you've seen a sensitive side. You've seen
no, I have.
But most people don't.
Correct.
Like at the end of the day when we're like having conversations and he's very sensitive. Yeah. Like very caring.
You don't see that when he calls Paul crusty.
No, or like tells him that we're not friends. Right. We
were talking about that yesterday about how funny it is because there's so many people that actually think that they hate each other.
Yeah.
Like genuinely.
Which that's Pate's goal, I believe, in this whole thing is to convince people that. And then one day when those people that think they really hate each other see them together having fun, they're like.
Thrown.
What?
They have no idea what to do. Yeah. Yeah. So then you finished community college and went to Alabama?
Yeah. And the reason I went to Alabama was because I met Pate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I met him my freshman year of college. I mean, I was a brand new in college. Right. Met this dude. I was like,
And he was older.
Yeah. Yeah. 2 years. And he was already at Alabama. And so, we started dating, fell in love, whatever. And I was going to go to UAB. I originally wanted to major in psychology. Okay. Which I think comes from my obsession with true crime. Like I'm a big true crime person. Okay. And like I think it's fascinating, like getting into the brain of a criminal and like why they do things.
Yeah. Is that why you like talking to me?
Yeah. Like I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah,
like,
you do.
Sometimes I ask like questions that people are like, dang, she's asking that. That's kind of deep and like inappropriate or like personal.
Yeah. That's fun though.
But I feel like that's how you get to know people. And 100%. If you're coming from a genuine place, not trying to be nosy, like I genuinely want to know, like, why do you
do what you do?
That? Why do you respond that way? How do you like?
It's also how you form relationships.
Exactly.
Like actual relationships. Yes. And I think that's something that we talk about here a lot is like, how do you actually do that?
Yes.
And you do that by having these kind of conversations, not just surface bullshit, and we run into that so much. our industry is all we know, right? Not all we know, but we're not in every other industry. So when I refer to it, I just, whatever, but, there's so much surface bullshit and people think that they know people and think that they know each other, and they don't.
You don't at all.
No. And it's become really weird because I know that Pate had to deal with it as well. And you would deal with it because you were going to all the different conferences and all that kind of stuff. And, Paul deals with it. And now I'm dealing with it, where you go to these conferences and you walk down the hall to go get a cup of coffee in the morning at the hotel, and you have 10 people come up and they're like, "Hey, Eric."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Who the fuck are you?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
And it's humbling.
Yes.
And it's cool and it's whatever, but it's weird because people think that they know you and they don't. Yeah. It's like, you may not want to know me.
No, but you probably do want to know me.
You. Not me.
Yeah.
No, no, that's a small group that wants to know me.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I've had a few instances where people have come up to me at conferences looking for Pate, and they're like, "Yeah, I just wanted to get a picture with him. I follow him on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever." And I'm like, "Wow, that's
fucking weird."
Like, I don't know if I want to tell Pate someone wants to get a picture with him because
no, his head's big enough. Yeah.
Or they're like, I follow the twins. Your kids are so cute, and they know their names and stuff.
That's a little weird because I get that too. Obviously, because I do a lot on social with Tegan, and we spend a lot of time together, obviously, and there's a line. Yeah, you know what I mean, but you don't know where it is.
I mean, I'm posting about them, right? So of course, I mean,
because I have friends that I know people that won't put pictures of the face of their children.
Yeah, I do too.
And it's I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't do that.
Yeah. but then you can't blame people for coming up and being like, "Oh my God, how's Tegan?"
Right.
And you're like, "Who are you?
What? Who the fuck are you?" Yeah. Why do you know her name? Yeah. That always kind of, that's a little weird.
But anyway, so I was going to major in psychology, and then my dad didn't really want me to go to UAB, mainly because of where it is in the town. And I don't know, I think he was just like, "I don't want."
Oh, where's it at?
It's in Birmingham, Alabama.
Right. Is that the school that when we were down, for Tim's bachelor party, they were freaking out because everybody came down there and were running the town? It looked like a rap video.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. No. I don't know.
All right.
But it's just in a part of town that's not the greatest. And my dad obviously didn't want me to go live in an apartment by myself, whatever.
I wouldn't have allowed that either.
Yeah. And I was like, well, my boyfriend goes to Alabama. And
he said, "Your boyfriend?"
Yeah. And I was like, well, I could go to Auburn or Alabama, and he was like, well, whatever. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to Bama. And so that's the true reason why I went to Alabama, was because Pate went to Alabama.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did you grow up an Auburn girl, though?
Well, my parents both went to Auburn.
Oh, they both did?
Yeah, they both went to Auburn, graduated from Auburn. My mom has a master's from Auburn. But we didn't grow up watching college football.
Oh.
So I didn't really care.
Gotcha.
Except for the Iron Bowl.
Right.
Which is a religious holiday in Alabama.
Correct.
And so on that day, I would pull for Auburn because of my mom.
Right. But not anymore.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm diehard.
Got it.
I went to Alabama.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. Just checking.
Me and Saban,
You're tight.
Well, no. His first year at Bama was my first year at Bama.
Oh, is that right?
So we go back.
Oh. There's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it.
We have a connection. He doesn't know
He doesn't know about it. Yeah.
But, we love each other.
That's nice.
So, yeah, I mean, once I was at Bama, I was like, if Pate and I break up, it's whatever.
Right.
But I'm here and I'm loving it.
Right.
And my first semester, I took some psychology classes, and I realized I don't want to go to school for the rest of my life.
Right.
Because in order to be successful, you have to become a triple doctor.
Right.
And research, solve, cure for cancer kind of thing.
Right.
I'm not a researcher.
Right.
I'm not that type of person. And I realized it's the people aspect of it that attracted me to it.
Right.
But for 20 years, you're in a lab doing research and studies and blah, 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 writing research thesis, blah, blah, blah. No, not about that.
No.
So I pivoted to public relations in the communications college and advertising, marketing, all that kind of stuff. And that fit me. And so that was the degree that I got from Bama.
And so from there, you ended up getting a job, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't like to say that I'm my dad's favorite, but...
But I mean, yeah, it'd be weird if you weren't. Yeah.
He always says, I love all three of you equally, but you're different because I'm the only daughter. You know, it's the daddy-daughter thing.
100%.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And he was like, jokingly said, all right, well, you know, you got 2 weeks and then you need to get a job once you graduate college.
Mm-hmm.
And before I graduated, I had a job because I'm just that person.
Yeah.
Like,
and where was that job?
It was for a life insurance company called Woodman of the World.
Right. And that was what?
That was what brought me to Omaha.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm just that person. Like you tell me you want something from me or just in general, and I take it and I'm like, how can I make that happen?
Right.
And I do that with Pate, the kids, like myself, my parents.
You get shit done.
I try.
Yep, you get shit done.
And if I don't, I take it very personally.
Sure.
Like on myself. Right. You know?
Were you like that when you were a flag girl? I heard you were a flag girl.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That is so nerdy.
Well, why?
I was dying laughing. Because I was asking Pate these questions, and I was like, did she play sports? Because I don't think I'd ever asked you that. And he's like, nope, didn't play sports. And he's like, she was in the band. I'm like, she was in the fucking band.
So I'm starting to feel like I sound like I have daddy issues or like a daddy thing. But like my dad didn't want me to play sports. He was like, you're my daughter.
Yeah.
Like you wear pink and you do inside chores and your brothers do outside chores, you know?
Yeah.
But then, you know, I kind of like validated his reason one time. He let me cut the grass and it was like not, he like had to go stop me. Like you're
don't
helping.
Do that. Yeah.
And then recut the grass.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But also like if I need to figure out how to do something, I'm going to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I get a lot of my.
I want to go back to you being a nerd and a flag girl.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you were in band to start, and what'd you play?
I played the flute.
Of course.
Like one of my core memories. You know, you like have these like memories that like pop into your brain. Yeah. Like one of my memories is being in 7th grade and going to like the band open house where you like try out all the instruments and you're like, which one do you want to like? Just a big group of cool kids. The coolest. Yeah, hanging out, like trying out instruments. Oh my God. Tell me more. You got like a t-shirt at the end of it. And you're like. What'd the t-shirt say? I mean, something cool like. Please keep going. I want to hear more about the cool band t-shirt. Oh my gosh. I love that t-shirt too. Like I wore that thing with pride. I bet. I don't have it. We still don't know what's on it. It was like, watch out, like band nerd coming or something. Did it say that? Something to that effect. I love that. And so I tried out. Flute is actually one of the hardest instruments to play because the way your mouth has to. Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Your embouchure, which is. Oh, your what? Your embouchure. Okay. Which is how you like pose your mouth to play any instrument. Yeah. And the flute is actually very hard. If you're like blowing on the top of a Coke bottle or something. Yeah. You know how you do that and how you do your mouth? Yep. That's like how you have to do your mouth to blow in a flute. Oh. And the smallest movement of your lips or mouth like changes the pitch, the sound. It's real easy to fuck it up. Yeah, sorry, I just hit the mic. It's okay. No one will know. Yeah. So I did the flute. I did that in middle school. And then high school, I marched in the marching band. Wow. Which was the coolest. Was it? It was. Like. My literal comment, and I know that this sounds like ridiculous, but like I looked at Pate because he was like, yeah, she was in the marching band or a flag girl. And I'm like,
she had to be too hot to be a flag girl. And he's like, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah, well, I wasn't.
Because that is normally not
but I
where
wasn't
the attractive
like,
people go.
I wasn't like a cool.
Sorry.
I wasn't like a cool, like, popular girl.
No?
No. I was.
When did that change? Were you in college?
I mean, is anyone popular in college? Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't do Greek life, which in the South, if you're not in a fraternity or sorority, like, I guess that's like the cool kids and like the independents.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't really consider myself like a cool.
Oh, well, you're cool now.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, you're cool now.
But yeah, I did marching band and I loved it. Like, I loved it.
I know nothing about this world.
That's okay.
All I know is that I made fun of everyone in band and marching band because I was an asshole jock.
Well,
That's all I know. Yeah.
But like the band nerds kind of stick together, so they don't really realize that people are making fun of them because they're just in their own little thing.
Oh.
But I also didn't care.
Right.
Like, I didn't care if.
So were you pretty independent growing up then?
I'm extremely independent.
Okay.
And that comes from, I think, both influences from my parents. My mother is very independent, you know. I want to say opinionated. I don't want it to sound like she's like a Karen.
Right.
But like, she's very opinionated, assertive, very successful in her industry. My dad is a hard worker.
Yeah.
Like, if he needs to figure out how to do something, he's going to figure out how to do it. It may be like.
And I think that's the lost art, because we've talked about that before. And, you know, somebody's asked me, like Sam Taggart, his little funny question that he always asks when he goes on stage or whatever, he looks at somebody, he's like, what's your superpower?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's your superpower? And I was trying to figure that out because I heard him asked it at D2D-Con. And not to me, but to somebody else. And I went and wrote down, I'm like, what is your superpower? Like, what are you good at? And I decided it was figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Because I think that is like a lost art today, right? Because everybody, I mean, and we have so many things to be able to figure shit out, right? You can literally go on the fucking internet.
You have no excuses.
And everybody looks at you and goes, well, how do I do that? And it's like, I don't know. Go fucking figure it out. Go figure it out. Like, we didn't have any of that shit, and we just had to go figure it out, and we did. And I think that's a lost art. So like the fact that, because how old are you now? 30, I don't know.
35.
35, yeah. Because
that one hit me.
Page 37. Did it?
That this year, turning 35 hit me for some reason.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
37 bothered me.
Yeah.
Because that was the rounding up number.
Yes, I feel like I'm like at the hump.
Yeah. Right.
Like I'm headed to 40.
Yeah, you're fucked.
I'm headed there.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like, you know?
I mean, I'm broken as shit, but I still think I'm 28.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just as dumb. So I know we're starting to run short on time, and there was two things that I wanted to get to. And one of them was, Pate and I were talking about it, and he thought that you might have some cool insight into it, but what it was like for you and your family, and how you obviously assisted in this, but your guys' transition from Premier to MMA, because that was obviously that was easy. It was an interesting time though, wasn't it?
Very interesting time, but it was easy for me.
Okay.
Back to the superpower thing, and this is going to like kind of go into, I feel like my superpower is I have almost a too naive of a, like, I trust people.
Yep.
Like, I just have faith that whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen.
Yep.
And I think that's why I've been able to, you know, Pate wants to do this, do that, do this, do that, go here, go there. Like, I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. And, you know, people have been like, well, how can you, and Pate's even asked me this before, how can you just like say, okay?
Right.
And I just say, okay. And I just feel like if it doesn't work, go in this path, then let's pivot this way or pivot that way.
Right,
but we're not going to know unless we do it.
Right.
And
it doesn't mean that you don't have an opinion in the matter. It just means that.
Sure, exactly.
Right.
And I also am super observant. I'm super observant. And that comes too with the asking like the deep, almost like too personal of questions.
Right.
Like, I asked someone one time, where their husband was, and they were like, well, he's actually in prison. And I was like, oh, so you're married to someone that's in prison. That's interesting. How did that happen? And like, I could tell that someone standing next to me was like, whoa, she just asked that.
Right.
But like, why wouldn't I? You know, I'm not looking at him like, you married someone in prison, really?
Right.
I'm like, wow, how do you connect with someone like that?
Yeah.
And I'm a great listener. So I feel like I've got 3 superpowers.
I like that.
So what were you even talking about? I don't know. I just kind of
your transition from Premier to MMA. And maybe it was a little bit more stressful on him, and maybe he thought it was stressful on you.
No, it was stressful on me for sure. But it was one of those situations where I was like, I would get out my like, holy cow, what is happening in the shower by myself.
Gotcha.
It's like a mom thing. Like you don't panic in front of the kids.
Right.
You panic by yourself when it's all said and done.
Right.
But I had to keep it together because when you see Pate Smith, kind of coming down. Right. Then you're like, wow.
Right. Yeah. You got to hold on. Yeah. I get that.
I knew I was going to cry.
Tell me why.
Well, just because, it was hard.
Yeah.
But
what was hard?
You think something is a certain way.
Right.
And it's not. And like when you really, you will never see someone go so deep and hard in for something than Pate Smith.
Yeah.
And he means it. And I'm the same way, you know, but he means it with his whole entire soul and body. And then when you're let down.
Yeah.
You don't expect it, but then you're like, wow, that hurt worse than I thought it was going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
You put a lot of trust and faith in people.
Yeah, and you genuinely care about the success of the company and your mission and what you're doing, and like you want to be involved. And then it goes a different way, and then you have to pivot, which you know we're people that can, you know. And I remember looking at Pate and being like, we're done here.
Yeah.
We're moving on.
Yeah. What a blessing though, that it ended up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It's like,
if you take that shit and turn it into.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, you know, Pate went to law school like eons ago.
Right.
You know, and he was like, I don't want to practice law.
Right.
It's like, okay. And that was another moment in our relationship where not many couples would just say, okay, what do you want to do?
Right.
And let's do it.
Right.
And go out, and it's going out on your own. But I just have an insane amount of faith and trust in Pate's abilities.
Yeah.
And not to like talk him up, but I do.
Yeah.
And sometimes to a fault. Like I'm like, well, you're not okay today.
Right.
You're supposed to always be okay. You can do so many things and I know I can do so many things that he can't do.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't even know. I just lost my train of thought.
That's okay.
Do I have mascara like all over my face?
No, you don't actually. I feel bad that we don't have tissues because we haven't had a crier. So
it's me. I'm the crier.
I know.
I am the crier.
I'm glad. That's when you have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Not to add more crying, and maybe this won't.
No, I got it out.
But the other thing that I wanted to ask about is, and you don't have to share whatever, but just because it's close to my heart. And I know that we had a conversation when I was at your house the last time when your mom was there. Mm-hmm. Cause I think that your parents are probably frightened of me, but, well, your mom, at least. I think your dad. I think your dad likes me.
I think they have a healthy respect for.
Yeah. Most people's parents don't know what to do.
Yeah.
With me. Somebody said yesterday on the Twitch link that they were going to pray for me. And I was like, oh, well, that ship's fucking sailed, but go on. Yeah.
No, we always need someone praying for us.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad takes a gun outside because every day when he goes out in the yard, because he doesn't know if he's going to need to kill a snake.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Right. I'm fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Okay. But the thing that I thought was really interesting was when we were all spending time together, however long ago that was, and we were sitting outside having coffee, and we had like a real conversation about your uncle.
Yes.
And
my mom's
your mom's brother.
My mom's brother.
Yeah. And like the addiction issues or whatever it was. And the only reason that I bring that up is I'm curious how that, did or didn't affect you, growing up in your life or whatever. Yeah. But it was cool. That was a bad word to use, but it was cool when we did get to sit around and talk, and it was like that was the most genuine conversation I ever had with your family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was very real.
Yeah.
That was like the one thing that.
And I think part of that too, on my mom's perspective, is just in May of last year, I went to Alabama to watch my cousin graduate college. Mm-hmm. And my cousin, gosh dang it, that's my uncle's daughter.
Yep.
So, okay. I don't want to talk through the crying. That's annoying.
It's okay. You can do whatever you want here.
Yeah. So my mom's dad was an alcoholic.
Okay.
And I knew that, but I didn't really know
what that meant.
What did that look like for my mom?
Right.
And so when I was down for that weekend, we were talking, and she was like, I just really wish my brother were here to see this.
Yeah.
Gosh dang it.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm comfortable with my emotions.
I know you are.
I just don't like to,
all of them.
I just want to be able to talk without crying.
Yeah.
And so then she started telling me about, and I started asking her these questions that I've never asked her before about her childhood. And, from her perspective and her dad being an alcoholic and, seeing that, her dad gets this amazing job and they're doing well. And then 2 times, his boss had to drive him home, and then he didn't go back to work.
Right.
Right. Because he was drunk at work.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then my mom is, over 60, and her realizing at this point in her life that it wasn't her fault,
Because she thought it was.
Well, you're as a kid, you're what's going on? Why? It's my fault, kind of thing. And
right. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
Because it's different. Like in my story, I didn't have Tegan. I didn't have a kid, when I was going through that, and I don't I don't get that. Right. Just because I'm not, it's not relatable to me, but what is relatable to me is the family dynamic of it and the lives that are, not ruined, that's the wrong word, but affected in a negative way, in a very negative way.
Yeah. And it made me realize, as an adult, I wouldn't drink in front of my parents.
Right.
Just because all I knew was my mom's dad was an alcoholic.
Right.
So I'm not going to drink in front of my mom.
Right.
Not realizing until this particular conversation that my mom didn't understand that people could have 1 or 2 drinks and then be okay.
Right.
And not become an alcoholic.
Right.
Or not
Right.
So I'm sitting here thinking, wow, she has been worried that if she sees her kids having a glass of wine or a beer or whatever, that
they're going to turn
they're
into
going
her dad.
down.
Yeah.
And she's 60 something and finally having this realization.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's, I mean, it's just, I bring it up because recovery is so important to me.
Yeah.
And I want people to see how it affects people's lives that aren't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because just because you're not, doesn't mean that you don't have somebody in your family or a close friend or whatever it is that isn't. And then what does that mean? Right? Because you don't want to just leave that fucking person on the side of the road necessarily. And maybe you do, because sometimes they do so much fucked up shit.
Point. Yeah.
You know, you could.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I know a ton of people that, you know, that call us and are like, everyone's left.
Yeah.
Everyone's left. They have finally just given up on me.
Yeah.
And there's no reason I should be here. And I'm going to go jump off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
You know how many calls we get for that? And we're like, whoa, we are not fucking qualified to have a conversation about you jumping off a bridge.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's above my pay grade. I'm a fucking old drunk roofer.
Yeah.
You know, like, all I can do is tell you how I did it and how I got clean and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But you forget that there's people that get to that point and how it affects the people around them.
Yeah.
And how long can those people stay around where it's healthy for them?
And then, like in my mom's case, she's over 60. Both her parents are dead and gone for, gosh. And she's still learning about herself and how that affected her as a child and how it's like affected the dynamic with her kids. And
right. Which is crazy, because if you think about it, and for people watching, like, that's something that you can take from this, is like literally talking about your mom being in her 60s and still learning things about herself, right? But there's somebody watching this that's 32 and is like, I have got everything fucking figured out. It's fuck you. No, you don't. You know, like, you don't. Like, we never do.
Yeah, and why do we want to have it figured out?
No.
You know
that's
what I'm
boring.
saying? Like,
then die.
Yeah.
If you got it figured out, what else do you have to accomplish?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. We got at least, 75, 80 years on this?
I mean, some more than others. I'm sure you'll live much longer than me. So, yeah.
You're going to outlive us all. You're like a roach. You're going to survive like a nuclear.
That's actually
true. You know
true.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, have you gotten COVID? Probably not.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm invincible.
You are.
Yeah.
It's going to be you and the cockroaches
when
this world goes down.
I couldn't get chicken pox. Did you know that? I never had chicken pox as a kid.
Not surprised.
My mom sent me to children's homes with chicken pox to get it.
Oh, chicken pox parties. We were just talking about that the other night at book club.
Yeah, I went to a chicken pox party and I came home and they're like,
let's just talk about that for a second.
Okay.
That parents used to send their kids to houses that other kids were sick intentionally
to get it.
Do not come home unless you are sick.
Yes, that 100% happened.
And then you look at what
is happening today. Yeah. Yeah. It's
wild.
Crazy.
But I also respect it. Like, listen, if Mary Charles gets a stomach bug, I'm like, Sally,
go get it.
Like,
we don't need you
make out with her right now.
Yes.
Like, do something.
Yeah.
Like, y'all slobber on the same cheese stick, because if you're going to be puking today, like, I'm getting it all out. We're going here. We're doing it.
I forget about that with multiple kids. Yeah. Because you're crazy having like the 97 children that you have.
I do have 97 children. And I didn't have any of them on purpose. Okay. Well, I take that back. We were trying to have the twins, not twins. We were trying to have one baby.
Nobody tries to have twins.
Right?
Yeah.
And then we get a bonus baby.
Right.
And then we absolutely were not on purpose trying to have Aunt Catherine. And here we are.
And here we are.
You know?
You know what, though? Amazing. Amazing kids. You have good kids. They're not assholey kids. I mean, sometimes MC can be an asshole, but that's okay. That's just her personality.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you've seen that one play Barbies, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, do I need to
we need to look in therapy at 6. Yeah.
What are the characteristics of
what did we decide before we end here? What did we decide that Tegan needed to marry?
Tegan needs to marry Mary Charles, because Tegan is very timid. Like,
right.
Mary Charles can be the bossy.
Right.
and tell Tegan what to do.
Yeah. Because we've decided like no boys.
Yeah.
Right. So like we're 100% all in on Tegan finding a wife.
We've got to figure out a way. We've got to figure out a way for the Obrams and the Smiths to be related.
Right. That's what we're trying to figure out.
You know?
Yeah. But we had to figure out which twin. But Sally's like nice and sweet.
She's a sweet,
subdued,
like Chrissy, and I just feel like her and Tegan would look at each other and be like, "No, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Yeah, they'd never eat because nobody could make it.
Say like, we're hungry. What are we supposed to do?
I don't know. What do you want to do? Well, I don't know. What do you want to do?
Like we have some chips,
right?
All right.
Yeah, they'd have Doritos every fucking night.
Yeah, and MC would be like, "All right, like we've got Doritos. Go
so we're
gonna
them. Save this. There was this video, and so in like 15 years."
Yeah,
we can go back and
when
they can.
Tegan and Sally fall in love with each other. And
we're
like, nope, wrong twin,
wrong twin. How awkward will it be for them to watch this when they're like 16? Like this will be a hilarious. Like cut just this clip so that we can have it for
their
them.
wedding.
For their wedding. Oh yes, perfect. Okay.
When they actually marry dudes.
Okay. Well, we have run out of time on all of our cameras because the batteries run out or. The cards run out. Yeah. Okay. So we do these all in 30-minute jumps. Okay. And so like when Pate and I went for 2.5 fucking hours, she had to keep switching cameras all around so that she could cut them all up. And it was quite the thing. But I got to everything that I really wanted to talk about, and I got you to cry. Which is kind of easy. Which was great though. The way that I end these every time is I like to have some kind of a takeaway for the audience, for people listening, people watching, whatever. And we went through, half a dozen things together and got to chat. But I always want to give the guest the last 3 or 4 minutes if they have anything that like, I had something on my mind that I really wanted to bring up and wanted to talk about while I was here, whether it was for me or for the audience or for you or whoever. So I want to give you the last minutes to
I think in general, and especially now in our day and age, I just think give people the benefit of the doubt. Like if someone's coming at you hot, they're coming in hot, there's a reason. And you either just give them the benefit of the doubt and move on, or you say, hey, what's going on? Are you okay? Like, are you hungry? Like, did someone hurt your feelings? Just give people. Or are you just someone that needs a to-do list? Or do you like to just go at it? Figure out what's going on. But don't just assume someone's being an asshole because they're an asshole.
We literally have meetings about this at work. Yeah. Right? Because you'll have, everything will be great for a while. And then all of a sudden you're like, why is everybody getting so butthurt? Yeah. Right now? And I can't figure it out. Like, don't understand. Going on. Well, Billy's being mean and he said this and blah, blah, blah. And I'll literally have to sit down. To your point, it's a great thing to talk about, to be like, do you think that he is in general just a bad human? Yeah. No. Okay, you don't. So why would you assume that they're automatically coming from a bad place? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that says something about you. Yeah. And let's work on that. Yeah. I think that's...
Did Billy just get some really bad news at home?
Maybe Billy's dog died. Yeah. Right?
Maybe he didn't get to eat breakfast.
Oof. And I mean, that'll put me in a bad fucking mood all day.
Every time.
Every single time. Every time. I like that. So anyway, thank you for coming and being part of this. I'm really excited about you being here and the direction that this podcast is going. Special. And you should.
Like I'm in on the end now. Like I've been on this.
I love that people get to see you and see who you are a little bit more, because too much in the industry and when we go to all these things. Yeah, no, but it is like I don't think of you as Pate's wife. Yeah. Right? I think of you as MK. Yeah. Like you're my friend. Yeah. MK, not Pate's wife. Yeah. But when you go out on tour, right? You're Pate's wife, which is kind of irritating to me now. No, and that's good that you're happy with it.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but there's more than that. Yeah. And people don't get to see that. Yeah. And I think that that's sad. And that was honestly that was my genuine reason that I wanted you here, because I was like, that's not fair, because you're probably smarter than him anyway and should really be fucking running shit anyway. Yeah, I know you do, but people need to know that.
Yeah, I'm actually not excited about going home because...
Fuck it, just stay here.
The ship has not been running it's been running without me.
Yeah, just stay here for a couple of days. It's fine. It's cold, but yeah, we got a room, so... We've got Addie's room. It's the twins' room. It's your guys' room.
Yeah.
And Pate, you can leave and use Pate's spot on the couch.
Love that.
His
corner.
His nap spot.
His corner.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap this up. MK, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Love
you. And the way that we end every podcast. Remember, be authentic or get the fuck out.
Just know I'll go again. I never quit because I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up.